The woods just beyond our metaphorical backyard act as a certain mysterious haven. We don't know where it could take us or what might reside within. So close, but so unsure. That is, until we decide to venture farther than we have before. Heading southwest from Gorski Cabin, we do our best to stick to the roads for now. But arriving at this fork, we have a choice to make. Up ahead, we see a very large bridge that continues the road westward. But if we go back and to our left, we see nothing but forest. And today, I choose the woods. Walking along this fractured road, we see only what used to have been here. An abandoned picker-up truck with a motorcycle leaned up against it, presumably left by citizens as they tried to do what they could to escape the nuclear holocaust. To our right, up ahead, we hear shots coming from the small shack. I can't tell what they're shooting at, but I think I saw one wearing Raider gear. Doing our best to not give ourselves away, we creep closer.
Who's there? You are.
With the roof raider down, we still see red on our compass.
You're dead! You hear me?
It appears there were just 2 raiders living here, just off the road. Taking a quick look at their shack, it is 2 stories, which is pretty impressive, and does look like a good spot to look out for traders walking by. Inside, we see 1 mattress in the corner and a chemistry workbench, of course, to cook up those tasty chems. Otherwise, we can move to the upper floor to loot a wooden box. With that, we can find out what they were taking shots at. This tree just down the hill is covered in blood, and beneath it, sure enough, we find mannequins as well as a couple of settlers being used as target practice. And while we're here, we discover Walden Pond. Approaching the water, we see the entire area is covered in a green haze. Luckily, it seems the shore is safe for now, and we spot a couple of small buildings on the other side worth investigating. Walking around, I can't help but notice all of the trash and debris, almost as if this were a dumping site pre-war. And right in front of us, we can see the bridge that we could have crossed, which is actually a dam holding back a reservoir, which begs the question, why would these buildings be just below it? And so, with unanswered questions, we can investigate. Starting with the smaller building, we see a modest little residence with a few things lying around outside and what looks like the bare minimum for survival on the inside, with a bed, fireplace, and a good stash of bourbon. Which really makes me wonder, who lived here?
Hello, and welcome to Walden Pond. You are now standing in front of the cabin. You are now standing in front of the cabin inhabited by transcendentalist writer and philosopher Henry David Thoreau, starting in the summer of 1845. For 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, Thoreau lived in this cabin, hoping to gain a more objective understanding of society. This experiment was influenced by Thoreau's interest in transcendentalist philosophy, which believed that people were at their best when truly self-reliant. By living off the land with few material possessions, Thoreau proved it skeptical to think that any outward improvement of life could bring inner peace and contentment. For more information, please visit the gift shop and purchase one of the many books on transcendentalism. Also available, t-shirts, coffee mugs, toys, and many other items to commemorate your trip. Thank you for visiting Walden Pond, sponsored by General Atomics, maker of the Mr. Handy robotic assistant.
Of course, it all clicks into place from that very concise tour. Henry David Thoreau was an American author and philosopher in our timeline. He was made famous on his views and beliefs that nature and people are inherently good, and that the more self-reliant you were, the closer you were to God. A philosophy known as Transcendentalism. In 1854, he released a book on his time spent here called Walden. I think it's safe to assume that all of this happened in the Fallout timeline as well. Well, with many questions answered, we can move to the larger building. And reading the sign outside, we know it's the gift shop, and as soon as we walk up, we can tell we're in trouble. After we shoot, we can start to make our way through here nice and slow. Starting on the right, we first see a novice locked suitcase and, spot a makeshift bomb, so reaching over, we can safely disarm her.
Got it.
With that looted, we can turn around and look through this middle aisle, which appears to have nothing but toys. So moving to the left, and just behind us in the corner, we find a fishing rod in the display case, which we could assume is a replica of one used by Thoreau. Continuing, we pass an empty case to find a replica of the building he lived in being sold as a toy in this shop. As cute as I think it is, I think we're starting to see a theme here. But turning around, I happen to be staring at yet another makeshift bomb. After a quick look, we can make our way back though. One more makeshift bomb. But with that disarmed, we have now taken care of all of the traps, so we can safely make our way behind the counter. Starting with this cap stash right below the monkey. Going along the counter here, we see not much other than these registers, but behind us, we have the gift shop basement. And just to the left, we see a note. It reads, "Tweez. If you're reading this, then you're an idiot. This is the last time I tell you we're locking this door. Use the entrance in the sewer pipe. Next time you forget, I'm locking your ass out permanently. Signed, Walter." Well, now that we know that there are multiple ways in, we can start looking down by the water for some kind of pipe. And look at that, just a few feet away we have our way in. It doesn't look open, but as we approach we see the option to enter the drainage tunnel. The other side welcomes us with a dark and dank crawl through muck. This dead end has a chem cooler for us, hidden on the right. And as we inch forward, we start to hear voices.
This guy made sure he had everything he needed before he started his camping trip in that little shack up top. Double-checked his list and everything. And that's why they call it being the road.
Oh, and this guy invented
Transdentalism, moron. You sound like an idiot.
How the hell you know all this?
I read a book that one time, when we ran out of grognacks.
I wish I could read.
We hear Tweez and Bear talking about Thoreau, but as well read as they might be, they are still raiders.
Open fire!
Indoor Molotovs are a very risky game, so attempt at your own risk.
Nothing there now. What do you think?
Hearing more to our right, we can be sure to keep it down as we explore this room. Turning on our light reveals a decent-sized room that has apparently been dug out beneath this gift shop area. Starting just up here on the left, we see their sleeping area and a couple of hits of jet. After looting those two and the duffel bag in between the beds, we can continue down to find some food and beer bottles all over the ground. But just on top of these barrels, we find a hit of Psycho and Tales of a Junktown Jerky vendor, which will permanently decrease prices at all vendors. Excellent. So far these raiders have provided a lot for us to keep moving forward. Now I missed showing it, but there is one more hit of jet and alcohol on that pallet right there, before we creep forward into the next room. As we remove those, we're almost spotted by Walter.
Swear I must be going crazy.
Disabling the other, we might have a shot.
What? Damn it! My arm.
Nothing! Playing games with me, huh? I've done this hundreds of times. You think you'll be able to get rid of
And finally, Walter falls, making it safe to start looting. Whiplash and Walter were the final raiders guarding this place, and so on Walter's body we find the gift shop key. Now I noticed that we aren't in a dirt burrow any longer, but an actual building with ducting and pre-war supplies. Starting on our left, we don't find much other than this wooden crate, but if we turn around, in the middle of the room, there's a safe that we can unlock with the gift shop key. We find cram and more alcohol, as well as 2 more hits of jet on these shelves just to the right of the safe. Making our way up these stairs, oh, we see just another jet sitting there on the left. Wonderful. And along this wall we see many shelves, some having scrap, but near the middle we see this table chock full of goodies. And I know it looks like an ordinary wrench, but this is in fact a legendary weapon called Big Jim. It's an amazing melee weapon with a 20% increased chance to cripple a limb. Truly fantastic during the early game when we don't have much ammunition. Finishing off in this corner, we loot an ammo box as well as a rare bottle cap mine next to this Vault Tech lunchbox. And so, with all the notable loot on our person and all the named raiders dealt with, we can head back up the stairs and take the door out to the Walden gift shop. Arriving back here, we can see the door is now unlocked for us to return as we like. There is actually a small campsite near the back door here, but as it is completely random, the encounter you might find, I don't believe this to be part of the story here. There is one more thing to note right quick before I'm done. I happened upon this downed tree while I was running from an alpha mongrel, and if you take it to the roof, you can get yourself an extra few caps, because they're just sitting over here in the corner, waiting to be taken. There's even a couple of tins of dog food if you can maneuver the enormous hole in the ceiling. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we complete our walkthrough of Walden Pond. Let me know in the comments what you think of this location. I, for one, find the landscape rather depressing, and I think that might be the overall point here. I mean, Henry David Thoreau lived here while he was connecting with nature, and he was mostly very successful. It was only after the divergence in the Fallout timeline that we see the gift shop and the commercial things pop up, such as the wall of concrete that dammed this river, creating a man-made reservoir up top. I do think that they were dumping into this pond as well. I don't believe all of this debris to be from the apocalypse alone, mainly because the dam is standing strong after over 200 years. But that will do it for me today. If you like what you see, please leave a like and subscribe for more Fallout videos every single week. But beyond anything, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me today. Until next time.